everybody. This is Dr. Lori Shemek.
And I'm Omar Cumberbatch. You're listening to This Podcast Burns Fat. Hey, Lori, how are you?
Hi, Omar. Happy New Week.
Yes, Happy New Week.
Yeah. New week ahead.
Yeah.
We're going to rock it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that we're going towards the end of the month and everybody's doing something different. So it's always kind of cool because I guess we're pretty much at this point, you want to call us like diet agnostic at this point. We kind of touch on all types of different types of diets and whatnot. And we just kind of just put it out there, see if anybody thinks it could be of benefit, right?
Exactly. And as you know, I know where you're heading to our wonderful guest today. She is an Emmy-winning Nafsika Antypas.
Yeah. She was all over A&E. She had a show for 3 years. So she's definitely someone who people have probably seen over the years, and just really someone who we're going to promote as a plant-based person. And it was really a little bit of a change of pace from our usual topic. So we kind of revisiting it. We haven't had someone who was plant-based in a while. It was really interesting. Just get her dynamic and just see a different view around this whole diet thing.
Yeah. And, you know, we always think it's important for people to be fully knowledgeable, that they have information they can utilize to optimize their health. So she was great. I really enjoyed her. Yeah,
no, me too.
Yeah.
So let's jump into it.
Okay.
Hey, Nafsika, how are you today? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Oliver, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. How are you?
Great.
Hey, Nafsika, we're so happy you're here. You know, we've been looking forward to having you, and, you know, you're going to, I know, drop a lot of gems for our audience. And, you know, I would just love for you to really tell our audience what you do and how you got into it, first of all.
Sure. So I do a few things. Well, first of all, I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own vegan cheese line, Nafsika's Garden, which is sold in a few countries. But I started off with my TV series, Plant-Based by Nafsika, which aired on A&E for 3 seasons from 2016 to 2019. And it was the first vegan lifestyle series on mainstream television. So, I did that as soon as I went vegan in just a couple of years before that. In 2013, I went vegan overnight. So there's, you know, that's
so you've learned a lot.
I learned a lot on the way, and while I was you know, on the show, and I was the executive producer and the host as well, and the writer. So I thought it'd be a good idea to also become a certified health coach. So I did that at the same time. So I'm able to coach programs and help people go vegan with my plant-based switch. It's a 6-week plan, and I have it available on the Apple Store and Google Play as well.
That's awesome. So I know, like you just mentioned, that you did become a vegan overnight. And when I was doing my research on you, it seems like Netflix struck again. It's the same thing that happened to my brother. He became a vegetarian as soon as he saw, I forgot the name, forgive me, of the movie, but you saw the documentary Vegucated, and that changed your life forever, right? So
that's right. You know, for me, I think it's because of the fact that I'm a mom, and I was literally nursing my son when I was watching it, and I just made the connection immediately. Like when I saw, you know, it wasn't like Vegucated is really informative, and it's nothing like you know, scary or anything. Like, you know, you can watch it with your kids and it's fine. But there was a moment where there's a baby calf being pulled by its leg away from its mom. And I just like, no, I can't contribute to this. And I just went vegan that night. So I just started like researching vegan recipes. I created my own meal plan for the week. I started watching other documentaries right after. I mean, I was there for a few hours, just like researching, and that's how I came up with the idea for the TV series. Because I'm like, well, now, okay, there's a lot more shows, a lot more, you know, information about veganism. But back in the day, 2013, it wasn't as much, and definitely I couldn't find like a TV series on mainstream television where everyone can have access to and learn about how to go plant-based. So that's when I decided to do that.
That's really, really interesting because, a lot of people are not vegan. And so there's like two tribes, if you will, there's the people that are plant-based and the people that are omnivores. And so, a lot of the issue with both, there's issues with both. And but some people can't take plants. And I'm just curious what your feelings are about those, the oxalates, the lectins, etc.
I mean, look, I think the plant-based diet is quite I mean, it could be quite wide. There's like you can basically, it's the main thing is that you're emphasizing on whole and unprocessed foods, and you're limiting or eliminating animal products. So you're cutting out refined foods like processed oils, white flour, and added sugars, and you're increasing consumption of plants, including fruits, vegetables, and nuts and legumes. And sure, there's going to be things that not everyone can consume, but you can just customize your plan according to your needs. If you can't eat nightshade vegetables or something, you can take those out. If you have a gluten intolerance, I actually have in my plan in my on my course, how to go gluten free and like a bunch of recipes if you're looking to go gluten free, because I do recommend it, especially if you have inflammation and things like that. So it's very wide, the net of plant-based, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be 100% vegan either. It's just really emphasizing on like foods that come from the earth, really, and whole and unprocessed, like I said. So you can kind of like customize to suit your needs. So whereas vegan is just like really eliminating, all animal products completely. And it's a lifestyle, right? It's like a philosophy. You're not having, you're also expressing, you're not using leather furniture or clothing and stuff like that. So I'm plant-based vegan. So I'm both. I have, all of that together combined. And I don't have any intolerances, thank God, but I know that a lot of people, sure, they'll have them. And I had a student that was telling me, for example, I asked her, what does she eat every day? And she gave me her diet. And I noticed she eats like a bird, but she has all this extra weight, and she didn't understand how she's not losing weight. And I give her a little tip. I go, maybe the gluten, maybe you should cut down on the bread and the pastas and everything. And the moment she did that, she started feeling better, less, she wasn't bloated and all that stuff. So, and she actually started losing weight really fast, like every day consistently.
Wow.
So
that's great.
It's just, yeah, I mean, it just really, everybody, you kind of have to have something that caters to you, but the overall purpose is, to eat a healthier, more plant-based diet. That would be the goal.
Yeah. So to piggyback on Lori's point and to just emphasize that you are a health coach, we can get around that even if we do have some intolerances with certain meals. So can you describe like your approach when you are working with clients to have them avoid some of those things that might be detrimental to their health, even though it's a quote unquote healthy the meal to maybe 90% of everybody else?
I mean, usually, well, I mean, like I said, like really, I ask what they're eating, and then we kind of try to see, okay, what did you eat? Make a diary of what you ate, a journal, and we'll see what are you eating that's bothering you. If you don't know, I mean, most cases they'll go check it out if they have an intolerance or an allergy or something, But we just kind of work around, what they're I guess what they can tolerate or something at the time, because there's some people that can't eat anything. Like I have someone who's allergic to so many things and so many intolerances and everything bothers her, so you have to really kind of start from scratch, start really with the basics and just kind of build up from there. It's just really the only thing you can do, and of course it's it's okay to get guidance from doctors and do those tests if you need to, if you have a severe intolerance or something. That's I can't tell them I mean, I'm not a doctor. I can guide them and tell them what I think, but I'm not going to give them medical advice per se. But I usually I kind of figure out what the issue is usually. So.
Well, I agree. And, it's just guiding is what most people want anyway. They need that guidance. So what would you say are the top benefits of going vegan, or let's just say vegetarianism?
Well, okay. So if you're going plant-based, first of all, because you're eating whole unprocessed foods, you're not eating chemicals, you're not having, you want to stay away from GMO. If you're eliminating animal products, you're not having, you're not consuming hormones, antibiotics, and toxins. The dairy, if you cut out the dairy, you're not dealing with inflammation. I can give you from my own personal experience when my first son, when I stopped breastfeeding him, around 7 months, and I started giving him formula, he started having pains and crying and screaming every time he had formula. And I looked it up, and they were just telling me, oh, he's just colicky, he'll pass it. And they just gave me a different formula. And I went to like 5 different doctors, and they just gave me different formulas with different types of milk. But it was all kind of cow-based. So I told the doctors, and I'm talking to a doctor here, and I'm telling him, I think it's the cow milk. I think maybe he's intolerant or something. And they one doctor literally laughed at me. One day he was like the head of pediatrics at the hospital. And he laughed at me, and he goes, oh, if you're right about this, I'm going to see you in the Guinness Book of Records. And I'm like, well, I guess you're going to be seeing me there then, because I don't understand why. But this is a few years ago, right? We're talking about 12 years ago, 11 to 12 years ago.
Humans are not meant to really. No. I mean, we can. No. Some of us can, but most of us cannot metabolize the proteins in milk.
Yes, and I think if you can, it's because you've been having a little bit, kind of like those, when they say the rat, they give them a little bit of poison every day, and they kind of become immune to it. Like, that's how I see it, honestly, with dairy. But then there's people that obviously right away they can't tolerate it at all. And I remember my son was hospitalized. Like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, he had like seizures. He would have seizures because he would get a high fever, and it would start with the ear infection, and he would get a high fever, and then I would rush him to the hospital. I mean, he was knocked down conscious when I first called the police, and I couldn't even. I remember calling my mom. I was in a panic mode, and I told her, "Can you call 911? It's not working. 911 is not working. Can you call for me?" I was like so panicked.
Wow.
I didn't know what to do. And then when I brought him there, they just drugged him up with Tylenol and Advil. They called it a cocktail, and just to lower the fever. And then they sent us on our way. And I'm like, well, that's not good enough for me. And they told me, well, it's normal for kids to have ear infections and boys to have febrile seizures, and don't worry, it'll pass. But I'm like, but why? But why are we letting it go on? There must be what's the root of the problem? And doctors can never tell you the root of the problem, because they only treat. They prescribe, and that's all they do. So this is what got me really angry with doctors in general at the time. So what I did is I just literally just went home, and I gave him, because at this point, let's say, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. For a year and a half, I had him on low dose antibiotics every day, because this is what the doctors were giving me. And so I'm like, this is not good for him to be every day on antibiotics. Antibiotics every day.
I wish my mother said that about me.
Sorry?
I said, I wish my mother said that about me.
Yeah, you were on them for a while, right, Laura?
Yeah, with ear infections. Yeah, for ear infections.
And then you become resistant to the antibiotic, and that's dangerous. So it's like it's not necessary. So what I did, by the time he was 2 years old, I had enough. The doctors, I had private doctors. I would text them. Like, I had that kind of communication with them, where they would just send me the prescription to the pharmacy, and I would go get it any time of the day. But I'm like, that's not cool. We're not fixing the problem.
Right.
So I just switched them to almond milk. And back then it was just almond milk was starting, it was like the big thing. Now it's oat milk. But back then it was almond milk. And I swear to God, I gave it to him in his bottle. He was drinking. He kind of slowed down, kind of like thought about it, but then kept drinking. That was the last time he ever had an ear infection, that night that I started giving the
That
almond.
is amazing.
And I'm like, are you serious? I could have done this a long time ago had I given my, like, oh my God, like no one told me anything. I had to like doctor my own kids, like it doesn't make sense. So I'm so glad I did it, and I figured it out right away. And then I came to realization that because dairy causes inflammation, it doesn't drain properly through the middle ear, and which that's the problem. That's what I believe the problem is. It's not draining properly, so it's the inflammation, and that causes ear infections. And for my son, it caused the seizures because he get too high. The ear infection would spike too high, and that's how you get febrile seizures. So once we eliminated the root of the problem, there were no more ear infections. And so, of course, there were no more seizures.
Wow.
So you have to get to the root of the problem. This is something that doctors are missing. And I have my best friend, she's a doctor, and she told me, she goes, we were given like maybe 1 hour of nutrition.
Yeah, I know
we did not learn nutrition.
Yeah,
I probably learned more in nutrition in university. I did fundamentals of nutrition, and I probably learned more than any doctor.
It's really true. I mean, it's not really their fault. They don't. First of all, this is what they're given in school,
right?
And then they get into the real world, and they're deluged with patients all day long. They don't have time to train themselves and to educate themselves on the latest research, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah,
it's something the doctors have to take it upon themselves to do it extra on their own time if they want to. That's just how it is, unfortunately. But I think things are starting to move a little bit into the plant-based direction. They're starting to be a little bit more open about this stuff. From what I hear anyways. I know in Canada over here, because I'm in Canada, our food guide now has become a lot more plant-based, and actually they stuck, I think, the meat and dairy in a small little section, and they put, for protein, they put like plant-based foods for protein as a main source of protein, and calcium as well. You can get them from beans or broccoli. So, we're becoming more plant-based, I think, here. But in Europe, they're even more advanced, I find. I mean, if you look at Germany or Israel, they're just really, they have a lot more vegan options there. They started off a lot earlier than us. When I started my vegan cheese brand, I did it specifically because I believe that people needed a better, another reason not to go, to be able to go vegan, because I would hear, well, I'm going to miss my cheese. So I said, okay, I'll take care of that for you. So I founded Nafsika's Garden on the eve of 2019. And then I was across Canada and then a few states in the US. And now I'm in like several countries. But that was the biggest thing for me. Like if I was going to help people go vegan, I really needed to take away all the obstacles and no excuses. Like there's no excuse. Now you have a vegan cheese, and when I started with Nafsika's Garden, there wasn't so many vegan cheese options back then. So a few years ago when I was vegan, like I was literally making my own cheese.
That's so impressive, really.
Yeah, no, because I was a very bad vegetarian back in the day, and I never really did what I was supposed to do. And cheese was one of the main reasons. I think I overloaded on cheese a lot. So I definitely get like the results that I thought I would get, at least what people were describing when they went to be a vegetarian. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, and I've been really pondering because I guess my bad incident with it, like these fake meats. What is your opinion on them? I know that a lot of people are really talking the talk about the chemical composition of these Beyond Burgers and such. What do you think about that?
So what I have to say to that is if I have to pick between meat and a fake meat, I will definitely go with the fake meat because okay, it's processed, but it's not carcinogenic like what's in the actual meat and in real meat and the hormones and the antibiotics and the toxins and everything and the cholesterol and the fat, and there's so many bad things with real meat. So I think the way I see it is just the way I tell everyone about the cheese. You're not going to eat my cheese every day like it's a meal. No, you're going to use it as a way to season, or like, put it as a side dish, or to flavor your dish, like a pasta or whatever you want to make, or a sandwich, you're not just eating the cheese alone. And same thing with meat. I would say, like, don't go eating meat, the vegan meat every day. Although we did start eating a lot of vegan meat at the beginning. And actually, a funny story, I was eating it also because I was told that vegans don't get B12, and a lot of these vegan meats actually have B12. They're fortified with B12. So I was eating the vegan meat that was fortified with B12 and the tofu and stuff, and the nutritional yeast. And meanwhile, I was also taking B12 pills because, I was told I was a vegan, I might die, and, whatever. So I was doing that. And then I did my blood test, and my doctor looked at it and said, everything is great, but you have too much B12.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, okay, interesting. Okay. So let me stop taking my B12, and I'll just eat a regular plant-based diet, and that's it. And the iron was fine. And actually, when I wasn't vegan, I actually was borderline anemic, I was low iron. I was, yeah. And then when I went vegan, guess what? I had plenty of iron. I was no problem, because I was actually eating more.
They usually say the most absorbable form is in meat versus plants.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I was fine. I did my blood test at the beginning every year, and I was always fine. And there's lentils have iron, and there's a lot of plant-based foods that have iron. And by the way, the whole thing with the B12, did you know that the feed that they give to the animals are fortified with B12? And
I did not know that.
Yeah, the soy. Yeah, the soy that they're feeding them is fortified with B12. So why am I going to go to I go straight to the source. I go straight to the plants, and I eat, what I need to eat.
Right.
I don't have to go recycled vitamins through an animal. I don't need that.
So would you say one of the top benefits would be it's less expensive to be vegan versus somebody who's an omnivore?
I think definitely. I mean, look, when I used to go with my family to Costco and get the meats and everything, my God, we'd spend hundreds of dollars. And now I don't do that. Now, we'll buy a bag of beans. We'll buy bulk. So that's the trick, is to buy bulk, and for the beans and the legumes and the seeds. You don't have to buy little tiny fancy packages. Go to, a bulk place or Costco or whatever, and buy bulk. So you'll save lots of money, hundreds of dollars. I haven't calculated, but I would say thousands of dollars at the end of the year. Because you're not eating all that, you're not buying all that meat and dairy. Dairy, I replace it with oat milk because I love my oat milk, and I'll make my smoothies.
Why do you love oat milk over almond milk? I'm just curious.
Oh, almond milk. We all had almond milk. My kids were growing up on almond milk, but then we switched to oat milk because I found it was just oat milk is, I
haven't tried it.
Nutty. Oh, you should try it.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it actually. Yeah.
Milky. It has a bit of a more creamy taste. If you like that. So that's why I think with cereals and stuff, especially, I much prefer oat milk. And we buy unsweetened, so you don't have to get the one with the sugar. You buy oat milk unsweetened, you can get it unsweetened with vanilla. So it has a little bit of a sweet taste, but not too much. Almond milk is just more nutty. I don't know. I don't want to be.
It's more watery, probably, right?
Yeah, it's like water and nuts,
right.
Literally.
Right.
So, I mean, it's nice for some things. I'll use it for cakes. If I don't want too much of a creamy taste, I might use the almond milk instead. But it really depends on your taste buds, what you like.
Right.
But I think oat milk is really great. It's so big right now. It's the most popular right now. It's becoming before it was almond milk was a staple, and now I think it's becoming oat milk.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've kind of switched to oat milk a lot lately, especially with the lattes. I haven't drank dairy in many years, and I guess maybe I'm sick of almond milk, to be honest. And I'd like the change, right? So oat's definitely something that I enjoy as of late.
Definitely. And if you want to add it to your coffee or whatever, you can definitely, I would say, go with the oat milk. That's a better choice.
That's that creamy. That's great. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's definitely good.
And there's so many different milks, there's, rice milk too, of course, and all kinds of milks. You can find coconut milk and everything. But oat milk is the best in my eyes.
Definitely. So this is a weight loss show. What do you think about how this type of lifestyle is the most beneficial for losing weight?
So what I like to say about a plant-based diet, if you're eating the whole foods and everything, you're automatically going to lose weight because you're just eating healthier. You're not eating saturated fats. You're not eating cholesterol. So right away, how they say, well, I believe with a plant-based diet, it's 80% of what you eat and 20% exercise. So you really don't even have to be going to the gym every day like crazy just to lose the weight. It's good. It's good. It'll help you. But you'll maintain a great weight on, or lose what you need to lose. You'll lose exactly what you need to lose. If your body needs to lose weight, it'll naturally lose weight on a plant-based diet. So I think for sure you'll have the best results on a plant-based diet.
That's great. So with that, what advice would you give somebody who's considering changing to a plant-based lifestyle?
Well, number one, you should check out my app because it's going to help you go plant-based with ease, because I have daily menu plan. So you don't have to think about what you're going to eat next. I have it ready for you. I have tons of recipes, and I give you a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of research, and it's also checked by a doctor. I have a plant-based doctor that has checked it just to make sure I'm not, giving any wrong advice out there. And it also has specific problems or dietary restrictions you might have. If you're gluten free or you're diabetic, I have, it's curated recipes for your diet of choice. Yeah, or for your issue. Exactly. So I would definitely say do that. You can also check out my TV series, which is now on my YouTube channel, because it's not on A&E. It's not airing on A&E at the moment, because we did the 3 seasons and we finished that right before COVID. So you can go to my YouTube channel, just Google my name and you'll find it. But basically with plant-based diet, you shouldn't have to stress too much. You just take it a step by step. You could cut down slowly. You can go overnight like I did, but you don't really have to. You can just take it one step at a time and just, make your goals, make sure you meet them. And just, there's so much help out there, resources out, on the internet to help you with more recipe ideas. So really, there's just so much information out there that and tons of recipes that you won't have a problem going plant-based.
So what do you miss most in the non-vegan world as far as food?
I was going to ask that.
Oh, you were?
I'm just kidding.
I actually love asking that question for people, especially with the stricter diets. What do you miss?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. When you go plant-based, your palate changes. So I do not miss that greasy. For me now, it's like greasy and, that meat taste. I don't like it. So I actually am not even crazy about the vegan meats that taste so much like meat. Like for me, it's like, is it meat? Is it, I'm not even sure sometimes. I like the clean. I prefer the cleaner taste, not the greasy, fatty kind of taste. So I don't miss really having like a meat, like a burger or a steak or anything. I don't miss that. And for dairy, honestly, I see the difference right away. Like now I don't have any inflammation. And if I do, maybe I accidentally had, somebody give me a chocolate or something and I had something, and I actually will start feeling it in my throat a little bit. I won't get terribly sick or anything. Well, it depends how much I have, but if I'll notice a difference right away that, I ate something that had milk or dairy or something.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because I've rid my body of all these toxins. So now it's like my body knows right away and it reacts right away. Like, you had something you weren't supposed to. So then what I do at that point is I start to treat myself the way I know how, which is apple cider vinegar, turmeric, garlic, whatever, just, nice plant-based remedies. Especially now that winter is coming or is here. There's tons of cool. I have a lot of tips on how to get better. With on a plant-based diet with homemade remedies, which are really easy, and you have them in your house. So, but going back to what I miss, I mean, I'm just trying to think here as I'm talking. I don't really miss. No, I can't say I miss anything.
Wow, because I went to Greece maybe 7-8 years ago. The food was fantastic, especially the fish. So I'm surprised you were not even a little bit of fish.
No, you know what? I used to eat fish all the time. I was pescatarian at one point because I didn't want to eat red meat or any meat. So I was just eating fish all the time. And my brother back in the day, he had a Greek restaurant, and he was importing fish from Greece. So I was eating fish almost every day. But once I went vegan, I'm telling you, like, just the idea of cutting the flesh, it just kind of disgusts me right now.
Yeah, it's more psychological.
It's psychological a little bit. Yeah. It's like your palate changes, but it's also psychological. Like, the other day, 2 months ago, so I haven't eaten meat like in years, right? In like 8 years. I went to an Indian restaurant, and I love like aloo gobi, like the cauliflower. Whatever, the fried cauliflower, and I ate something, and right away I took a crunch, and then I'm like, what the heck is this? I spit it out. It was fish. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh no.
I haven't eaten meat in 8 years, and now
surprise.
I was such a streak, but I didn't consume it, but I just bit into it, and I spit it out. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Like I was not happy. I was not happy about that.
That would be a shock.
But even when I did, it's not like I had the feeling of like, oh, I missed this. No, I did not miss it. I regurgitated it. Coming out of my mouth. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, listen, Nafsika, you've been fantastic.
Yeah.
We really, really appreciate this take. We haven't had anyone who was plant-based in some time, so thank you for just putting that in the back of our heads, because it's definitely an option that a lot of people are very interested in nowadays. So can you please tell us, like, the best way to find you at this point, social media handles, website, any way that we could keep up with your journey, except for, of course, your app, which is fantastic, and the course as well.
Yeah, sure. So for the course and the app, you can just go to theplantabasedswitch.com, and I'll take you directly to the app. You can download it on the Apple Store. You can follow me on Instagram or TikTok under Nafsika Antypas. So it's just my full name. Or Nafsika's Garden is my vegan cheese line, which, by the way, we're expanding to other products as well. So you might want to watch out for that. Yeah, tons of amazing
Congratulations.
products. Thank you so much.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. And if anything, you know where to find me if you want to go plant-based.
Yes.
And thank you. We appreciate you.
All right. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of This Podcast Burns Fat. We're so excited to have you as a listener, and we're hoping that you've really enjoyed the content as well. And if you did, please run over to iTunes and provide a rating and or review. It will go a long way in helping us continuously build our listenership up so that we can provide you with excellent content regarding fat loss, weight management, and just an overall healthy lifestyle. Thanks so much. Have a great night.